Can you hear me now? There we go. There we go. Lapel mic is working. All right, give me just a few minutes to get everything rocking and rolling. Really digging this new Streamlabs music. Get some good stuff in the background. There we go. Can you hear me now? Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2. All right. All systems go on Facebook, all systems go on Twitch, all systems go on YouTube. As soon as I can figure out the Tickety Talk, we'll be on Tickety Talk as well. Oh, Tipas. Go. Share this real quick. Remember, if you like or love me, share. Gotta share everything. One quick post to rule them all. Beep. I'll figure this out eventually. Don't worry, guys. I'm still here. Ta-da! All right, let's get this party started. Thank you to my loyal viewer. Go. Hi everybody, happy Monday. Super excited to be back streaming again. We will be continuing building through the Marvel Crisis Protocol Monsters Unleashed character pack. We'll be doing Dracula and Frankenstein tonight. Very excited for that. But before I get into that, I want to thank my sponsors, Board and Brew Games and the Aegis Creative Company. Very thankful for everything that they help provide to my stream. Lights, cameras, games. They give me places to play out in the wild where I'm safe and where my kids can play safely as well. So thank you very much to my sponsors. Before we jump into building the Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures, I want to talk about some of my favorite RPGs that I'll be playing this year that I'm very excited to get into with some of my new friends that I've met in the gaming community here in Houston. For those of you who aren't familiar, I live here in Houston, Texas. I've braved the winter. I've been able to survive hurricanes and heat waves because we're built Texas stuff. But this year we'll be playing a lot of different games that I'm very excited for. Monster of the Week, Old Gods of Appalachia, and I've actually been setting up a campaign with some friends for this, so I'm very excited to actually be able to play this year and play my home cooking sort of like grandpa character. It's gonna be a lot of fun. A new one that just released last quarter, the Arkham Horror role-playing game. I absolutely love the Arkham Horror LCG living card game by Fantasy Flight. Fantastic game, easy to play, great interactions with all the players and the scenarios that happen. So when they announced that they were going to do a role-playing game, it made sense to pick it up and try it out because I love the world that it's already set in. Call of Cthulhu-esque, but a much simpler system than the actual Chaosium Call of Cthulhu. So we'll be trying that as well. And then of course, this is not new, but it is my absolute favorite tabletop RPG right now. Has been for the past few years. My girls love playing it with me. When I go to conventions, this is how I show people how to play a tabletop RPG, and that is Tiny Dungeon. So if you are unfamiliar with Tiny Dungeon, it is made by Gallant Knight Games. It is the Tiny D6 system, and you just use D6s. It's a lot of fun. It's super simple. It takes all of the worry and number crunching out of playing a tabletop role-playing game, and just allows you to role play and have fun with it. So I will be playing a lot of Tiny Dungeon, and I will be playing Tiny Cthulhu with some of my good friends, hopefully on stream within the next few months. Here we go. That being said, we will be opening up our box of Marvel Crisis Protocol Monsters Unleashed. Last week we built the Mummy, the Living Mummy, and Werewolf by Night. I'll give you a close-up real quick. Nose itches. Double webcam. So, here's that Mummy Mini. Very beautifully detailed miniatures. His staff is very, very fragile. So I'm glad I got that. He's got these little wraps coming off of him. and the model was so beautifully made that I assembled it last week, and it's very hard for me to see where the seams are. Like it's just really well made. These are the kind of models that you really want. Same thing for the Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night being an amazing miniature. I love their new bases. Most of the Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures come on like these city street bases for like New York. Like every single scenario happens within the city, and it doesn't, right? Like sometimes you're playing on a wooded terrain table, or you're playing on the moon or on a space station. So it was neat to get these sort of like gothic horror inspired bases. This one actually looks like it's going to be perfect for putting like a sand finish on it. You know, obviously a mummy comes from the sand, or Land Down Under. We never know. What kind of mummy could it be? All right, so we are going to dive right in to Dracula and Frankenstein today. So one of the things that I really like about Atomic Mass Games and their miniatures is that that's it. This is going to be Frankenstein. This is going to be Dracula. Their bases are included. Then this is I'm going to build 2 models just like that. Beep up a doo, squeep up a doo, be doo. Alright, good. So we are going to start with Frankenstein because he's cool, and then end with Dracula. So Frankenstein comes on this sprue. I'll start by clipping out his base. These are Army Painter snips. They're made specifically for models. You can get them at any hobby shop, or most hobby shops. I really like Army Painter's line. They're specifically made for miniatures, and make sure I'm getting all this on camera. Boop. Do you hear what I hear? Hey, if you're in the chat, don't forget to give me a like, share what I'm doing, make some noise. Can I get a huzzah? Also, let me know if you can hear the music. I have music playing in the background. Streamlabs has added this new music feature, and I like synth pop. I was really hoping they'd have like a spooky playlist since I'm doing monsters today, but they do not. Boop. All right, one leg done. One more leg. And so, you know what's really funny is a good friend of mine, Adam, was asking. He's like, Mike, you're building these Marvel Monsters Unleashed miniatures, and I don't think I've ever heard of Frankenstein or Dracula or a mummy in the Marvel universe. And I couldn't for the life of me do it. Hey, Tio Choco, right? Is that you, Choco? Tio Choco? El Choco. This El Choco. El Choco over on Twitch is asking what this is. I'm building Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures. This is their Monsters Unleashed set. We're building Frankenstein right now, and we'll be building Dracula in just a little bit. Boop. Good. Thanks for watching. all of these pieces came off of this sprue. Once you clip it off, what you want to do is go to where the little sprues were and then shave that off nice and easy. Alright, so you want to be very careful when working with the blade and cut away from you. All I'm doing is shaving off this excess plastic. Very hard to see. You notice that my hands are a little calloused, so it's very hard for me to cut myself. Oh, yeah, it is nice. Always, always, always cut away from yourself. That way, if the blade moves too quickly, you won't risk cutting yourself or stabbing yourself. If you ever see me cutting towards myself, remember to do as I say, not as I do. And I also have fairly calloused hands, so it's hard for me to cut myself. Not impossible, just I've been doing this for a long time and I know. Definitely need a new blade. All we're doing is shaving that little bit of excess. Get that a little bit closer. Oop, there we go. Shaving that little bit of excess. Just nice and neat. Frankenstein's got a little whippy chain. His leg actually came off pretty clean, so there's very little for us to clean up here. We cut off this flash so that when we're gluing it, the pieces fit snugly together. Cut your chum, not your thumb. Thank you, Indigo Montoya. Over on Twitch. Frankenstein and his clodhoppers. He got them big old feet. You know what they say about a man with big feet? Got big socks. Please remember that this is a family-friendly show. Please don't get me kicked off of YouTube. Again, we're just cutting off the flash, the excess from the sprue. Hey, Gabe over on Facebook. Thank you for watching me, brother. Don't forget to give me a like and a share if you're watching. Liking and sharing the stream helps promote me to your friends and family to let them know that I'm doing something cool and fun. But love you, Gabe. Have a good night. Sweet dreams. Beep up a doo. Beep up a doo dee doo. Rap up a dee ba doo doo dee ba boo sklee doo. Remember, the best thing that you can do for a streamer is to just like, comment, and share their content. Engagement is 90% of the battle. So Frankenstein's kind of, you know, stitched together. He's got all these little neat pieces. Let's see if we can get a good picture of this on the camera. Boop. So if I mess up, it's easy to make it just look like a stitch or a cut in his skin. Or misunderstood Frankenstein's monster. It's neat because even on his character card, Frankenstein, it says Frankenstein's monster. His name's Adam. Just like in the book. And look how handsome he is. Oh, he's a handsome man. So handsome. they put the part of his sprue right up against his hair. I gotta get that flash off. Nothing on the other side. Well, a little bit on the other side, but we can just shave that down just a little bit. There we go. Remember to always cut away from yourself. Boop. Right here. Boop. So this weekend I'm very excited. I'm doing a tabletop RPG boot camp for Board and Brew Games. I'll be there from 5 p.m. till they close. From 5 to 6 I'll be doing just sort of like a meet and greet, talking about RPGs, how to be a better role player, strategies for working together as a team. Alright, so very excited about that coming up this weekend. So we have our pieces for Frankenstein's monster. I will be using my favorite glue. I've said it before and I will say it again. Loctite Super Glue. Choco with sleeves. What cards are you sleeving? These go together like this. Remember, before you glue anything, dry fit. Dry fit it because it's free. Boop. All right. That way, if anything has to go a certain way, you can have it set and ready. It'll just fold in there. His left arm is the arm with the chain. And it's a good thing that I tried to dry fit this first. There's just a little bit of excess flash on him right here, so I'm going to cut that away. And since everything seems to be form-fitting well, I'm going to disassemble it and start gluing. Start the gluing. So, this Loctite Super Glue, Ultra Gel Control, will not get all over the place. So whenever I put just a little bit on there, boop, it's not going to leak and spread and get all gross. Arm down. It'll give me a few seconds so I can set and move or position it how I want. But since these pieces are so well made and fit together so well, all I have to do is just attach it real quick and I set it down. What I like to do is work from right to left. So when I finish a piece, I'll set it to the side, let it dry, and then start working on the next combination of pieces. I'm going to put his chest together. And I'll put a little bit of glue inside that key on the flat pieces. And just a little bit of glue will do it. Because if you put too much glue, it's going to squish all over the place. You'll have these gross fume marks from the super glue getting its fumes across the plastic. And that's a pain to clean up. You'll want to clean that up before you start painting, because it can ruin the paint job when you start to paint. Just a lot of things you gotta take into consideration when you're doing this. So his chest is done. Take a look in that neck hole. His chest there. Glue his legs, bottom half together. Boop. Boop. Or just a little bit of glue. It doesn't go squirting all over the place. And even if it does, you can clean it up real quick with a finger swipe. But he looks good. And again, Atomic Mass Games did a fantastic job making these models, because the seams disappear. Now the seams of me assembling it are just the seams of his jeans. So his seat, all the way through the bottom. It's gonna look just like one good cohesive piece. El Choco over on Twitch says that he is binding up Isaac's collector box in the expansion from Marvel Champions. Some fillers. Choco, what did I tell you? Just takes a little bit of practice. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It just takes time and practice. Oh, but I love me some Marvel Champions. I was trying to play some Marvel Champions last weekend, but my friends wanted to play Mansions of Madness and Star Trek Ascendancy. So we ended up playing that for the weekend. Nothing wrong with it. But I do like Marvel Champions. I've been playing Spider-Ham a lot. And I just picked up the Jubilee deck. And I really like the Jubilee deck. Boop. There we go. One arm down. Gonna glue his head in. Thank y'all for bearing with me. All right. Okay. So let's see if we can get that on camera. His neck, if you look at his neck where I attach the head, there is a seam, but that seam is put together with stitches because Atomic Mass Games thought about that. So it doesn't just look like a bulky neck seam, right? It looks like his head was stitched onto his body, so there's going to be a seam there. Very, very creative use of their assembly, of the assembly. All right, let's get this other arm in. All right, so who's been paying attention to how long I've been doing this? How long have I been assembling Frankenstein's monster? And I only ask that because we are done. So it's 32 minutes into the stream. I didn't really start the stream until about 7-8 minutes after. I did a little bit of talking beforehand. So this, I'm going to say that this mini took me about 20 minutes to assemble. Very easy, very simple. The Atomic Mass Games company does a phenomenal job of putting together their models, of having something cohesive and nice looking and just very intuitive to assemble. Beep bop boop. I mean, this model came from this sprue. That's it. That simple. So it was a lot of fun. So now I have Frankenstein's monster to go along with my Wolfman. They have the same size base, but their base is different. See how he's got like this cobblestone looking base. And then he has like this circle. And then the mummy. His base is a little textured, so it looks a little bit like dirt or sand. And I'm definitely going to put some of my loose sand on there. I have a very, very fine sand paste that I'm going to put on there to make it look even more like sand. Because he's a mummy. Alright, so Frankenstein's monster, Werewolf by Night, and the Living Mummy. Please don't ask me to say his actual name. Are complete. That only leaves us with Dracula left. Dracula's got a real cool base with like some bones on it. He's got a bunch of little bats fluttering around him. But before I finish up my Monsters Unleashed, I wanted to very quickly talk about one of my new favorite RPG products over the past year. I actually used one of these at several conventions last year, and it's a lifesaver. These things are called Epic Encounters. They're made by Steamforged Games. If you're unfamiliar with Steamforged Games, they've made a bunch of different board games that have video game IPs, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, Dark Souls, and several other video games into board games. But they also make phenomenal miniatures. They had a miniatures game called Guild Ball that I played. I wasn't very good at it, but I liked it. It was a fun game. I had as per the name Guild Ball, there was like the Fisherman's Guild, the Butcher's Guild. I had the Brewers Guild. They were a very funny, always trying to knock down their opponents, stumbling drunk and things like that. It was a very fun game. I didn't like playing it competitively, but I like sitting down with my friends and playing a few games. Their miniatures are very, very well done, and that is definitely the case with their Epic Encounters. Their Epic Encounters are made specifically for role-playing games, and they have, well, let me just go ahead and show you real quick. So they come in sets. The first set is going to be a larger set, like this. Little box. See how big it is in my hands? And this box I got for Christmas. Cracking it open right now on stream. And it comes with a bunch of little minis on the inside of it. So this is perfect for role-playing games in general. It says 5e on the front, like Dungeons and Dragons 5e. 5e compatible. And that really has to do with the adventure module that comes with it. So it comes with a little adventure module, a list of all of the miniatures that are in there. Switch it up, double webcam. It gives you how to run this scenario. It gives you monster stat blocks. So you can put your players up against these monsters. This particular set is undead, What is it called? Arena of the Undead Horde. So with this one, you're fighting off against a bunch of different just undeads. So there's Iron Skull Executioner, Duelist, Leonite. So this is like a undead lion, knight, skeletal archer, and then there should be one big baddie in here. Yeah, Andabada and Death Rider. So this is like really beautiful. Comes with a double-sided battle map, which is great for new dungeon masters. Sorry about that glare. You can see that they're all like a bone color. They're ready to be painted. And with the ones that I have a goblin set. Painted those up. This is all I take to a convention with me. This, and then some dice to give away, because it does everything for you. It has the battle map, so I just throw this out onto a table. I'll just unfold this. A good sized battle map, perfect for a table at a convention, something in your home. It fits very, very neatly all together. Drop that on the table. Get your minis out. It's nice and tight. Oh, there's going to be things on the side. Yep. So to stop it from shaking in transit, they tape it together, but not all over the place. So this is a brand new one for me. We got a row of skeletal archers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got the duelist, the skeletal duelist. It's really neat because he's missing like half of his brain. He's missing. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 duelists. These are the knights. The Leonite, like a skeletal lion. Arrgh. Again, look at the base. Look at the miniature itself. Death Riders, like centaur skeletons. This big baddie. So El Choco over on Twitch is asking, each box is independent or I need a core box? No, each box is independent, which means that each one of these is its own scenario. Great, fantastic, but they come in 2 parts. So this is like the first main, oh, you're fighting a bunch of little things, you put out the battle mat. Once you beat all the little things, then you can move on to the big bad monster, huge epic fight encounter. I'll show you that in just a second. Sometimes they come with little tokens that you use too. Whoop. So this was the first part of the epic encounter. Hey Greg, thanks for liking the stream. We're actually building the Monsters Unleashed. Talking about epic encounters real quick though. So this is the first part of it. You don't need anything more than this. This and some dice will get your table rolling. That's all you need. When new players start, or when new storytellers or dungeon masters want to get into running a game, I always recommend this, because it's everything you need in the box. And you don't have to paint the miniatures. I highly recommend painting the miniatures. I will be painting those miniatures on another stream. But there's a second part to it, which is the large creature, the big bad, if you will, the big bad enemy. Again, I got these for Christmas. This is the first time I'm cracking these open, the first time I'm actually looking at them. I have several other Epic Encounters sets, and I did not have the undead ones, so the undead ones is what I wanted for Christmas, and I got some. So, just like the other Epic Encounter, it is a nice, streamlined little box set. It comes with a scenario, a battle map, and then some tokens. So if you don't get the first one, if you don't get that first set, this will come with tokens for the monsters, but you can just use the monsters from the first one for this instead of the tokens, which is nice. You know, you don't have to get the whole big thing. But the beauty of it is this bad girl. This beautiful, very large model is the Lich Empress. And so this will go into the base, and it looks like, let me double check. The Lich Baroness, the Lich Queen. Oh, it actually gives you different levels of her. Lich Baroness, Lich Queen, Lich Empress, and can you use those little things, or they go on the base? They're on the base. So it gives you a picture of what it'll look like when it's fully assembled. And this is painted very, very well. And what I found is fantastic about these is that they're very detailed, even though they're little plastic miniatures. Extremely detailed. Steamforged Games does a phenomenal job of that, and you can slap chop these miniatures very, very easily. That's how I paint all of these things. I prime them with a black spray paint, and then I will dry brush them with a light gray or an ivory, and then I will go back with speed paints from Army Painter, or you can use the, what are those things called? The contrast paints from Citadel. They're coming out with more and more of them, where it's just like a very deep wash. It paints, it highlights for you, it paints. It's really, really nice. Yes, Theo Choco over on Twitch. It is freaking awesome. And it's fantastic. It's a game changer for players and storytellers alike, because you get all of this value inside of this box. And this is all you need. Like this little box right here, the Tower of the Empress box from Steamforged Games, is $40. It's $40, but it comes with the maps. It comes with a scenario, so you don't have to come up with your own scenario. It comes with the beautiful, beautiful miniatures. You can paint them if you want. But I got these for Christmas. I will definitely be painting these up on another. Oh, I forgot to put these in. I will be painting these up on another stream. But highly recommend it. Because it's a great way to get into the game, and it's a great way for new people to play, especially if you're trying to get a new group of players to get together. It's got the rules for 5e Dungeons and Dragons. I use it for Tiny Dungeon simply because any miniatures can be used for pretty much any RPG system, but it gives you the hooks for the story. It gives you NPCs. It gives you plot ideas of how you can put it into a longer campaign. So it's great for anybody starting out, or for even veteran storytellers / dungeon masters like myself, who don't want to sit and write a huge elaborate scenario. We just want to play the game. So this gets models on the table and people around the table, just like that. In fact, this Saturday at Board and Brew Games, when I run my tabletop RPG bootcamp, I will be running one of these epic encounters after the bootcamp with a select few of the people that attend, so they can see how easy it is to play, how fun it is to just roll some dice, and how simple it is to get something rolling just like that. So I'm very excited about that this weekend. Okay, so get all my pieces together. As said before, we are now going to build Dracula from Marvel Crisis Protocol Monsters Unleashed character pack by Atomic Mass Games. And if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. These models are so easy to build, very intuitive. The people behind it, I don't even look up the instructions anymore. I can just build them. But if you need to build them, they come with this QR code in the box that takes you to a link, and it shows you exactly how to build them. But as always, the first thing I do is clip out the base. And I'm so thankful that Atomic Mass Games gave us these new beautiful bases, because I was getting a little tired of city streets. All right, boop. Pops out just like that. Now we're going to start clipping our Dracula. And I have to be very careful that I don't miss snip, because we got a bunch of little bats and diddly biddly pieces that I don't want to mess up. So flip it, set it to the side. Any little pieces, make sure that you hold on to them while you're clipping, because if you hit that last clip, they could go flying across the room. Alright, so these we have to be very careful with, because it looks like there's a place where it's going to insert into either the base or a part of his model. So always watch where you're snipping, don't just snip blindly. Theo Choco, you know, I hear you. D&D, the old D&D was massive. There was a lot to it, especially in the last year, because it had been going on for 10 years. I mean, D&D has just had its 50th anniversary, so it's been going on for a long, long time. But if you want something simple that is like D&D, again, I highly recommend Tiny Dungeon. You only roll D6s. This is the core rulebook. See how big it is compared to my hand? That's your core rulebook. That's all you need to play, and some D6s and maybe a few models. But you don't need that to play the game if you can do theater of the mind and just play with your friends. And my girls, my 6-year-old and my 4-year-old, love this. Absolutely love it. It's very simple. They get it. They have fun. Boop. Choco, so that's what I recommend. Choco over on Twitch is asking me what I would recommend for a beginner role player. Tiny Dungeon. Simplified rules, super simple. Gallant Knight Games makes it so you can go to DriveThruRPG and download the PDF, since I know that mailing is an issue for you at where you're at. But I highly recommend it. Tell them that the Big Bad Nerd Dad sent you. The creator of the game actually wrote a note to my little girls. Each of my little girls have their own copy of the book, and he wrote a note for each of them and sent it to them. Oh, I'm not even on. Oh, there we go. I was clipping away. So that's what I think, Theo Choco. Boot. Das Boot. Oh, this reminds me of another RPG that I saw. There's a new RPG out called Eat the Reich, since I'm clipping a Dracula vampire model out. He's got 2 heads. This is interesting. Hold on one second. So he's got 2 different head models, and I'm going to check them both out. Like one's smiling and one's giving like a smug look. Alright, so Dracula comes with 2 different head models. Yeah, one's a real big toothy grin. Oh, and the other one is like a monster-esque face. I see now. The one is charming, debonair, not monsterific, and then this one is got little like bones coming out of his face, and he's angry. Both come with huge dangly earrings, so that's gonna be fun to paint. I don't like the extra details on his like monsterific face, so I'm gonna do the plain charming, charismatic. I'm gonna put this head to the side. We're almost done. Oop. Legs and feet, legs and feet. Remember what I said, when you're clipping out, be very careful where you're clipping. I can tell that this is actually going to be slotted in somewhere. Because it's so small, hold on to it while you're clipping, so you don't lose it if it flies across the room. Stop. And all of his fingers are intact. Is. So we are now done with the Dracula sprue. It's a clean plate. If you're watching me, can you give me a huzzah in the chat? A little engagement helps, goes a long way. Huzzah! I'm gonna clean all the flash off. Oh yeah. Right, clean one, set it to the side. Clean it, set it to the side. Oop. So we're gonna clean this up. Pick the rest of his legs. Ah, see? So he's got like a little indentation right here. I believe that's where these bats are gonna go. Boop. Right there. So we're gonna move that over, and then we'll do the bats, being very careful because this is a very delicate piece. The last thing I want to do is snap anything in half. Is it? See, and look, they just Atomic Mass Games just makes really good products, because I could barely find this bit of flash from where the nub was on the sprue. Well done. Again, being careful, always cutting away from you. Even if I cut towards me, do as I say, not as I do. We're almost done with getting the flash off. I say flash, but it's not really flash because their models are so well done. It's more of these little nubs left over from taking it off of the sprue. So I have to be very careful with this sword. So in the process of moving, so once me and my girls move into our new place, I will be getting my laser cutter back, and I will be getting my 3D printer back. So I'm very excited about that. I can't find the nubs. AMG, you did it again. There's like nowhere, like you can barely tell that they're nubs. This Dracula is such a well-made model. Whoop. There we go. Okay, so get his chin. Let me get his chin. Side of his head. All right, so he is done. I am going to start assembling him, dry fitting him. Always dry fit before you start gluing. This will go into here. This right hand. This right hand will go right here. He's like, Lydia, come to me. I said Lydia because that's the first spooky name I can think of. Lydia, oh, have you met Lydia? Lydia the tattooed lady. This sword will go in the other hand, boinking down into the ground, which is good because I am so afraid that I'm going to break this sword. That's all dry fitted, so I'm going to take the cape off. Boop. Start putting in the legs. That leg will go right there. Perfect fit. Again, his armor. This model is so well made that the armor once it gets put together, will be almost seamless. Almost seamless. Looks really good. Another foot. This goes into the leg, and we're good to go. All right. So I feel confident in gluing this character together. So we are going to glue this character together. Again, a little glue goes a long way. And because of the type of glue that we're using, we don't need a lot. This Loctite Ultra Gel. Goes together, and then just so that you can see how well, oh, there we go. It's going to be seamless once it's all done. Like that's armor. It looks like the armor's put together. It doesn't even look like a real seam of it being put together. Do his foot and legs. Bloop. His other leg. I'm going to glue his body to his cape and shoulders. Again, you don't need a lot of glue. It'll spread nice and even. I'm trying to be oh so careful with those bats. I don't want to break the bats. Very fragile piece. Take a little bit in his armpit. There we go. This arm reaching up at an angle. And I know, I bet you I have a little plastic skull from Games Workshop or something, or something somewhere that I could put into his hand. I'd actually end up doing that later. Because there's a little skull on his base, like there's some bones on his base. Again, fantastic job with these. They don't look like the normal city streets of New York. Greatly appreciate some diversity in my bases. Bit. Alright, put a little bit of glue in there. This is going to be a sword arm that I need to be very careful with. Oh, please. Bat off. Does I go in there? earlier. There we go. Hold it in place for just a little bit. So does the rest. Alright, 2 pieces left. His face slash head. Put a little bit of glue right here. I don't have to press, I can just float it on there. Whoopsies! That's a eye. Good looking. One last piece. And really a brilliant move to give it a little more of a dynamic feel. Oop. Don't need a lot of glue. Put it into here. Looks like just any other piece of his armor. I'm going to use my knife to press it into place. What a beautiful model. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on there. I was debating on whether I was going to paint him off his base and then paint the base separately, but I want to do it in one whole piece, especially since he has all these little bats that could potentially break. Locking them in place would be good. Stepping up, stepping on. There we go. And he is done. Oh, that's such a beautiful model. And with Dracula finished, that concludes our Monsters Unleashed character pack. We have Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Werewolf by Night, and the Living Mummy. And we're good. I'll be painting these up over the next few weeks on stream. I'm going to stay pretty close to studio scheme for all of these guys. I don't plan on doing anything cool or weird with them. I do plan on playing with them in a few events for fun, so we'll see how that goes. very excited to see how the next few months roll out for me. If I'm lucky, I might be picking up the Dracula's Castle terrain piece in the next few months. It's expensive. It's a bit expensive. I'm hoping that one of my sponsors will help me out, so we'll go from there. But that's going to be it for tonight. I had a really good time talking about all my favorite RPGs, talking about Marvel Crisis Protocol, talking about the tabletop RPG bootcamp that I'll be throwing next Saturday at Board and Brew Games at 5 o'clock. I'll be there pretty much all night, and I'm excited to do that for them and to engage with the community, because that's what we're here for. Gaming is about community. It's about sharing things with your friends and family and getting out and rolling dice. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to roll some dice and engage with the community. So I want to thank y'all very much for watching. Have a great night. Remember, walls ahead,